Hello, my name is Mark J. Morrell Sr. I am the pastor of Victory Baptist Church located in the heart of South Dallas. I am coming to you to bring my proposal of starting the Victory Leadership Academy. Now, what is this and why do you need a Victory Leadership Academy? First of all, the Victory Leadership Academy will be an academy to attract, develop, and retain leaders to work in the urban church for years to come. Now, what's the need? South Dallas Fair Park, much like many other urban-centered churches, have a vacuum of leadership within the community and within the church. We see strong and good pastors, at times even great pastors, many times are doing much of the labor themselves. Those pastors many times are not from the neighborhood, and the people they are serving are not growing into leaders. So there is a vacuum of leadership that happens that if that pastor should pass or leave, there will not be a leader there in the pipeline to take the reins. Also, that pastor, because he's doing much of the work himself, is not able to go and delegate the work to others. And so the capacity that he is able to lead and grow that church is very limited. It's very capped because he's the only leader, or maybe there's a few others. But once again, there's not leaders in the pipeline. So you see, there is a need. There's a need in the urban church for a leadership development of leaders, especially from the local community. Now, let me get into the answer. I believe first, when you're dealing with an urban church, you must attract leaders. What do I mean by that? First of all, you must bring in people who can help the pastor help grow other leaders. So you first have to attract leaders outside the community to come and help the pastor, come and help the community. They should be co-laborers and not people to say, do this and do that, but labor with the pastor, labor with the community. The next thing, you must develop leaders. When you are developing leaders, you are developing homegrown leaders. Leaders that will be from the community and leaders that will be in the community and stay in the community. And then last, you must retain leaders. Many times in our urban setting, we have seen people who have grown up and have done well, they've gone off to college. So they become a leader. They now they're a professional or whatever else may be, and they leave those urban centers. So the retention is very important. It's not just good enough to attract, develop. If there's no retention, then you will still see the continuing of the vacuum. And so retaining these leaders, you must do that also. And how do we retain the leaders? You pour into them the importance of what Jesus did himself. Jesus poured into the community, he poured into his disciples and said that they must stay in the harvest. He made the importance that this is a mission from God himself. This is not something that is for a monetary gain, but it's actually to gain for the kingdom and not for themselves. That's why Jesus, one of the things he spoke to about the greatest of you shall be a servant. And so when we look at these things, that's the need, that's the answer. Now let me get into some of the details. To develop leaders, you must have classes. So we will be looking at 4 phases. The first phase in 10 weeks, every phase is 10 weeks. The first phase is a phase where we say, this is how you become a leader. Taking people from the neighborhood, taking people from the community, and about 12 members so that we can have a small class size a setting, just much as like Jesus did with his 12 disciples, and you minister to them and show them over those 12 weeks, how do you become a leader? That's phase 1. After we go from phase 1, we go to phase 2. In phase 2, we look at how do you lead a small group? Because a leader doesn't need to go and cast his whole vision over an entire group the first out the bat. Even the Bible speaks to, don't pick somebody to be a leader in charge of you who just became a Christian. You have somebody lead a small group. Let them be in practice, leading this small group, a group of about 4 to 5 members, leading that small group. After learning about how to lead a small group, then the next phase is how to become a leader in the community. So we looked at the internal purpose for the personal sake, how you become a leader. We looked at how to become a leader as a small group. Now we're looking at how to lead in the community. Now we're reaching out into the harvest. How to lead in the community through evangelism, how to lead in the community through different social needs that the person will need, how to lead in the community, and then the last, how to lead leaders. Because after we have developed that person over those 10 weeks, the first phase being 10 weeks, the second week being another 10 weeks, the third phase being another 10 weeks, and now we're at this last phase. Over 40 weeks they would have had this type of training. We're wanting that person to be able to know how to lead leaders. Because a pastor should be able to lead leaders. Certain departments should be able to lead leaders. Because you should be able to have that person be able to go in and grow other leaders, and so that the pipeline and the cycle continues to go. Now, as we went from classes, we then want to develop what we call the Victory Conference. The Victory Conference will be a place where these leaders could connect to the different ministries within Victory. This is a Victory Leadership Academy to grow leaders within Victory so that the capacity can even grow further. So this conference will be used to connect those ministries within Victory to these potential leaders in training, these potential future leaders of Victory, so they can connect, see the mission, see who are already involved, and see the vision of that, so that they can help strategize, help know the mission, and help move that particular ministry within Victory Baptist Church further. And so we have that. Then we go from that conference, which will be 3 days. A Friday, a Saturday, and then coming to a climax on a Sunday with a full time of worship, and then once again, everyone connecting again, and the pastor on that Sunday casting vision for the importance of leadership. Leadership within the home, leadership within the church, leadership within the community, leadership being very important, as Jesus left 12 disciples so they could carry the leadership mantle for the church for years to come, and then they developed more leaders themselves. After you have these things of the 40 weeks of classes, the conferences, and so forth, then I will tell you, I believe that the capacity will grow. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Working within the church, within any setting, if it's in the suburbs, if it's in a rural setting, or in an urban center, is very hard work. But we cannot give up on doing good. It is hard work to develop leaders because you are really discipling men and women to then take the mantle or do delegation of the different responsibilities within the church. There are going to be mistakes. There's going to be missteps. But as you continue to do this good, continue to do this discipleship, what you will see is a growth and capacity for that church to meet the needs of that community. You will see the capacity of that church be able to meet the needs of their own members inside the church. If you grow the capacity, you will see less burnout from the top echelon of that leadership staff, and you will see more empowerment from others. Many people do not get into leadership or involved in church because they're never asked. Simply, they were never asked. So now asking those members, you're empowering those members, and then you're growing a new generation of leaders. You're modeling leadership, not just for the current generation, but you're modeling leadership for the youth and children that will come of age. And they will know the importance of leadership themselves. And so in this capacity, I believe that you will see a change not just within the church of Victory Baptist Church, but you will see a change within the South Dallas community itself, because you're growing leaders in the church who then will affect the community. And when you affect the community, I believe you will see crime reduce. I believe you will see education improve. I believe you will see homes improve, because there are leaders on the block right there. Victorious leaders. And I just want to thank you for your time. I hope you will take time and invest in this ministry. And I hope you will take time and just pray for this ministry. May God bless you and keep you. Walk in victory.